Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Real Film Nerds Podcast, episode number 260. Mike, happy anniversary. It has now been 4 years since we started the pod, or was it 3? I don't remember. 2018. That's 4.
Yeah, that's 4 years, man.
Yeah, we celebrated our 4-year anniversary on Valentine's Day last week. We didn't mention it in last week's pod because we were recording it well before Valentine's Day because for some reason your wife wants to go out and do stuff and my girlfriend wants to go out and do stuff. And I don't know, whatever. Flowers, candy, booze, fine. How's that any different than any other day? But whatever.
Is that your favorite day, Matt?
Yeah, sure. That's why I started the podcast on that day, completely and utterly alone.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
So, all right, so back to my peacemaker, Mysterious Mike Talent. Why don't you give us the rundown for this week's film? Brand new, just came out in the theaters, a movie that is based on a video game that is inspired by movies, Uncharted. Mike, go for it.
All right, Matt. So what he's talking about is Uncharted, and this movie was directed by Ruben Fletcher, written by Ralph Judikins, Art Markham, screenplay by Matt Holloway, John Hanley Roseberg, and Mark Walker. And this movie is starring Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Antonio Banderas, Sophia Ali, Tati Gabrielle, and Stephen Waddington. And this movie is about a street-smart Nathan Drake is recruited by a seasoned treasure hunter, Victor Sully Sullivan, to recover a fortune amassed by Fernand Magellan and lost 500 years ago by the House of Moncado.
So, Mike, when you read the description, is this all the reading you do every week?
Yeah, man, it's the first time I read and the last time I read of the week. I don't do anything else, you know?
That's what I was figuring. I figured you'd get better over the past 4 years, but I guess not.
No, I read to my son every day. I guess we don't have good things to look forward to, huh?
Well, I guess we know where your reading abilities are, Mike. Maybe they're recessing because you're reading the books that you can handle. Maybe that's the problem that's going on.
Yeah, one fish, two fish, stuff like that.
Blowfish, bluefish? Is that how that goes?
Red fish, blue fish.
Yeah, delicious fish.
Yeah. I don't know. I read a lot of simple books over and over again.
Well, sweet, Mike. That's so kind that you're so good to your son. You feed him, you read to him. Man, do you hit him yet? Or is that still a little ways away?
We are not allowed to do that as parents anymore.
Just messing with you, Mike. Okay, I'll stop talking about you and your trials and tribulations as a parent. Mike, what's your thoughts watching this movie Uncharted with your little boy? How's that?
So Uncharted, it's a popcorn flick. It was kind of fun. After I was done watching this, I was like, I don't even know if I want to say this, but I actually think it should have had a little bit more exposition, a little bit more explaining what was going on, because it's a little too fast in some ways, I felt. There's a lot of just jumping to conclusions and no backstories for certain characters, and it was focused on the action, and there's a decent amount of action in it, but I don't know. It was a popcorn flick.
No, I agree, Mike. It was a popcorn flick that came out in February. I would have liked to know a little bit more, or actually a lot more, about a lot of the characters. Some of the characters that I like and we know about, we don't get a whole lot about from them. So, like, we know everything about our main character played by Tom Holland, Nathan Drake, who's the main character in the video game as well. But we don't get a whole lot about Sully. We get a little bit as Nathan Drake's looking stuff. We see a little bit about Antonio Banderas' character, and we get nothing from Sophia, and we get nothing from Braddock, and we get nothing from the Scotsman. So I fully agree with what you're saying. But as far as it being like rushed, I don't feel this film was rushed. I feel like there's a lot of parts that are really fast and hardcore action, and a lot of parts that just drag ass. I don't see much of a happy medium. It's either all in or nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you can see where this movie kind of takes inspiration from some of the other movies like National Treasure and your Indiana Jones type movies, adventure type movies. Even the recent one that we watched, was it Red Notice, right? That was the treasure movie that we just watched on Netflix.
Red Notice on Netflix. Oh, yes, the one with The Rock and my man crush Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
You can see how this is that type of movie, but I felt like there was some cool strong points in it with some of the various history references, but then other times it just seems, I don't know. I felt like I said, I felt like it was rushed. I feel like they could have done a few different things or things a little bit different. But it was fun. It was a popcorn movie.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I wouldn't say it's the best ever. I would definitely have to say, for me, that's probably the Indiana Jones trilogy. After that, it's probably National Treasure, because National Treasure was really a lot of fun. It's a lot better than people give it credit for. This one, is clearly inspired by all those, like you were talking about, Mike, but it's missing something. One thing I have to say that I feel this movie is desperately missing, and I thought there was going to be more in it just based on the character actors we have in it, is comedy. I thought there would have been a little bit more comedy in it, and there's some, and it falls kind of flat, and there's some that hits really good, but overall, there's not a whole lot of comedy in this film.
Yeah, that's true. I also felt that Mark Wahlberg's character, Sullivan, was, I don't know. I felt like he was kind of dry and bland. I felt like Mark Wahlberg didn't put into it as much as he could have. I don't know. Maybe that was what he was supposed to do, but it just didn't seem as good as he could be, Like, it seemed like we lost some of that Mark Wahlberg charm and stuff. Like, it was weird.
He was just collecting a paycheck. And again, my thoughts on that, specifically with Mark Wahlberg, is probably because he's really kind of come into his own as this action comedian superstar kind of guy now. And he really relies on having really good dialogue and funny things and quips, and there wasn't a whole lot in this movie. And when he did have one, it felt kind of flat, and I have to put that on the writing.
Yeah, I thought Antonio Banderas' character was a little ridiculous, but it's based off a video game, so I was like, yeah, he's like super evil villain guy, and so that's fine.
He's always a fun villain. He's one of my favorite villains. I don't think his character was super wonderful in this, to be honest with you. I think it could have been a little bit better, a little bit, more intricate, instead of, not to spoil it already, but I guess a little bit of a spoiler, but he's a trust fund baby, and it's generational wealth. And you can see it he kind of acts like that and kind of doesn't, but he's still very evil. I don't know. I wanted more, especially with Antonio Banderas. I mean, he's always a great villain. He's a better hero. He's a better anti-hero, like, El Mariachi and stuff like that. Oh, I love him in those. But I wanted more, and we'll get into the villain stuff more when we get into spoilers, because I have a lot to say about that, I guess, is a nice way to put it.
Okay, Matt. Well, then I guess I'll move it along, because I think we're going to start broaching a lot of spoilers if we keep talking. So, Matt, what are you drinking this fine morning, afternoon, evening?
Well, Mike, it's been a lovely past couple of weeks, writing lots of offers, being made fun of on South Park, not making money, but working my ass off. So, Mike, I'm drinking a little Buffalo Trace bourbon and Coke.
Oh, man. Nice. I feel like you drink Miller High Life when you're closing deals, and you drink Buffalo Chase when you're not closing deals. I feel like maybe that should be flip-flop, Matt, but hey, whatever. You do whatever you do.
The bourbon just takes the pain away faster, Mike, and the champagne is for celebrating.
Okay, all right. So I'm once again drinking the hazy IPA from Aldi. It is quite delicious and very reasonably priced.
Okay, Mike, I'm just going to roll right into it as you finish your sip. Mike, go ahead. I'm dying. I was up all night just praying. This is going to be a really good dad joke today.
I got dad jokes, I don't think they understand though. Gotta think I'm funny, other people never laugh though. Dad jokes.
Okay, all right. I know you were up all night, Matt. You always are,
That's true. That's true. I don't sleep well at all. I would be a wonderful father because I can operate on 3 hours of sleep.
I think so. What did the policeman say to his belly button?
I'm trying to think. What would a dad say in this point? Quiet down. You're making too much noise. I don't know. Holy something.
You're under a vest.
Oh my God. Seriously.
See, dude, you're dying. You're dying. These are great.
They're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous.
See, it's good. It's good, man. It's real good.
Oh, yeah, I know this is your favorite news segment. We might have to get rid of the MCU and just keep doing more dad jokes. We'll just do an entire podcast that's nothing but dad jokes. I bet you people would listen to that.
They probably would.
Okay, Mike, so I know you're going to have a very, very, very hard time figuring this one out, but I think you can do it. I have faith. Mike, how does 2022's Uncharted relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Well, Matt, I love that I didn't have to work hard on this one. And it is, of course, Tom Holland, who is Spider-Man. So, he was in Far From Home, Spider-Man Civil War, or he was in Civil War. He was in Homecoming, and then he was in the most recent movie, which was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Good job, Mike. I know it was difficult, but I knew you could do it. I knew you had it in you. You didn't even have to look that one up. Good job, Mike.
Yeah, no, that's fun when we can do those ones that have a fairly easy tie-in. It's a little easier. But, it was fun to go see a movie in the theater, Matt. I'm not going to lie. That's always a good time.
It was. It was nice to see a movie in the theater. I had to go at the peak time on a Saturday, and it was not packed, but it was more full than I wanted it to be. And of course, being 6'4", trying to cram myself into those seats, people always have to sit in front of me and in back of me, and it's always really uncomfortable because I can't lean back. It's just, there's all these seats. Just sit somewhere else, damn it. I think I'm just going to start sitting in the corner, or maybe I'll get up and walk away. Anyways, okay, I'm going to stop. I got to the theaters. It was a wonderful time. I miss going to the theaters. Kept thinking, man, you know what I should do is just buy like my own out of, work movie theater when they all close. And then I'll just have my own theater and I'll go and watch movies there instead of building a theater at my house, How cool would that be?
I have to admit that'd be really cool, but I don't know how it would work with getting the movies to get on your own personal screen. I don't know what the licensing and stuff would be, but I'm sure you could figure out a deal.
Well, if I own it, can I just hook up my Blu-ray player to one of them projectors? Or Netflix? Can I just plug the Roku into the projector?
The projectors that I am familiar with, I don't think that was an option, but honestly, with the new digital projectors, you probably could. Well, there's probably some sort of hookup.
Mike, do you ever see these advertisements where they say, bring your friends and come play video games on the big screen? They're doing that from somewhere, and that's plugging a Xbox or a PlayStation into something.
That's true. So I'm thinking the newer projectors have some newer connectivity. They might even support HDMI, which would be like fantastic. But I honestly don't know what the connectors are now. But yeah, dude, if it was like that, that would be fantastic. The only thing that would be terrible, Matt, is running a projector power bill.
Oh God, yeah, I bet that would be brutal. But it would only be one. It wouldn't be an entire movie house. It would just be the one. But I still bet you that one is going to hurt.
Yeah, the theaters that I have worked at, the lowest bulb was 750 watts.
Mother of God, that's a lot of power.
On top of the sound system, Matt, which was several thousand watts.
Dude, that's awesome. Oh, so much power. Okay, all right. I'm going to get back on topic. Well, that's kind of on topic. We're talking about movie theaters, and we did get to spend some time in one. Mike, we are now in our spoiler section for Uncharted. I guess the biggest question, Mike, have you found a PlayStation 5 yet for your son? Because I know it's going to take a couple years for you to find one, be able to play one. Have you found one in the stores yet for him?
No, I have not. I have not found a PlayStation 5.
Mike, have you played Uncharted?
I have not. I have not played Uncharted. I knew it was a big hit, though.
Are you going to play Uncharted now that you've seen the movie?
I mean, the movie was fun. I don't know. I'm sure the game is probably fun. Probably better, actually.
I'm betting you the game is probably better than the film. I'm wondering if there's going to be a resurgence in sales for the game, because I believe it is a trilogy. And I think the original one was PlayStation 3, and the sequels were PlayStation 4, but don't quote me on that. I have the original one. I've never played it. I bought it on sale. I think I've talked about this before. Typically when I buy video games now, because I can never get to them, I go and hit the bargain bin when they're on sale for $20 and they're like 2 or 3 years old. That's what I do now, unless it's something I really want, like Borderlands. But anyways, I should stop talking about video games. It's still kind of on topic, though. This is a video game movie.
It is a video game movie. I think it's on topic. That's okay, dude.
So
you're getting mad at yourself.
All right. Thanks, Mike. You're too kind, sir. But I hardly ever get to play it. If I get to play once a month now, I'm doing pretty good.
All right, Matt. Well, what you need to do is you need to set up in your calendar on your phone a little bit of game time once a month. Just give yourself like 2 hours.
I'd like to do once a week is what I probably should do. Honestly, I need to, because I'm working myself to death. I'm working way too much. No matter what South Park says, I'm a realtor that works my ass off.
Matt, I think it was just a generality. I think you took it too serious yourself. But I feel like they were just poking fun at some of the situations that are going on with the crazy real estate and things like that, but also then trying to make fun of realtors as well. So it was just, it's comedy, man. You gotta get thicker skin, Matt.
Okay, Mike, and I have to tell you this: they are spot on, especially with the buyers and everything. They flood in here from the big cities. They didn't say California specifically, but that's what they were insinuating. I live in a small mountain town. I mean, they're spot on. And then asking, well, what do you mean I live 45 minutes from town and I'm on 5 acres, but yet I can't get gigabit internet out here? You mean it's only satellite? That's like one of the worst ones I deal with all the time. What, I can't get gigabit internet and I live 45 minutes from town? No, you can't. They don't have it.
Yeah, well, there's Starlink.
Well, that's, yeah, but dude, we have Starlink here. It's nowhere near a gigabit.
No, I'm not saying it is a gigabit. I'm just saying if you're in a place that doesn't have any other options, I would recommend Starlink over trying to do anything other, like other satellite stuff.
I could tell you all about what we have. We have 3 big ones. Starlink is one. Speed Connect is another. And then HughesNet is the other. HughesNet is the biggest one. Satellite around here. Starlink is still very, very much in its infancy.
Oh, it is. But I'm just saying it delivers better speeds you're still going to have latency things, but it delivers better speeds than most of the other ones. And then it doesn't have a data cap, which is huge in satellite.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's getting there. I don't want to keep talking about work too much because that's not why we're here. But yes, they were spot on with a lot of those things, especially asking where the Starbucks is and Pilates and all that. It's spot on because that's who's moving to these small towns. Because one of the wonderful things and bad things about COVID is not everybody, but a lot of people are working from home, and that means they can live anywhere they want now. And why not finally live somewhere where you want to be and where it's nice to be and still work and get paid a lot of money?
Yeah, 100% agree. Hopefully you don't get the too many city people, Matt, because then it turns into a city.
That's the truth. That's one thing, our traffic numbers have gone up. Our track home subdivisions are going up all over the place. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking about work now because we're going to talk about a movie that was fun, that was like Indiana Jones, but not as good.
Yeah, it was just missing some of that magic, man. I don't know. I felt like the villains were... I don't know. I just felt like the characters weren't developed too much. Besides Tom Holland, it's like a lot of just... And there was a lot of innuendo for Sully's character with a couple of the women in the movie. Chloe Fraser and Braddock. But I would have liked to know just a little bit. I mean, it could have been like just a little montage. I mean, all we need is a montage, But, and then the Scotsman, I loved him, but we got nothing. And then the random scene at the end when he's flying the helicopter, like, what? Like, I thought he was a bodyguard. Like, what? He also flies helicopters? All right, I need to know more about this guy.
Right, yeah. I don't know. I felt one of the biggest issues, you hit on it a little bit, was the villains. So Antonio Banderas comes off as the main villain, which I liked and I was okay with. And he was evil and he was messed up and he did all this kind of shit. And I thought they were going to develop him more. And then as you find out, he gets killed by one of the other very minor characters that you don't even really know what's going on. And then she becomes the villain. There's a lot of like flip-flopping and back and forth. And it doesn't work for me. The villain just, it didn't work. So this one person kills Antonio Banderas' character, then all of his bodyguards and all of his henchmen and all of his money and all that shit is hers now. And now she's the big badass. Why would they fall into line? Why wouldn't someone else try and take over and run the show? I don't get it.
I don't know, man. There was some weird things, man. There were some weird things for sure. There was some, like, this movie has a lot of I believe in it. Like, you just got to go with the flow because there's just a bunch of fantastical things. But, suspend disbelief, go for it. But there's just some weird stuff that happened. Like Mark Wahlberg crawling up from the pirate ship that was being pulled out of the helicopter up to the top. Yeah, I don't think that would have worked out very well.
While it was moving at a high rate of speed, yeah.
Yeah. Also, it was awfully convenient that those ships were able to be airlifted out. Like, what if you had those helicopters and they weren't, like, there wasn't a big hole for you to pull them out?
Well, there's no way in hell they would have survived because how old those things were. Those things would be super, super dry rotted, if not termite ridden. Being that old and being, no. There's so many things that I have to go to your I believe button on that, Mike. But the one that is the hardest pill for me to swallow on the I believe is when they found the two ships and, there was no Goonies.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing I had a hard time with on the I believe was, like, GPS does not work underground, and there's no freaking way it would work under all that stone and concrete and all the crap that they were going. So, like, I was like,
but Mike, how do they find One-Eyed Willie's ships without the Goonies being with them? I mean,
That's true.
Is Nathan Drake that awesome? Should he have been a Goonie?
Well, shoot, man. Did you see how, I mean, he was able to just get up on the deck of the ship with, like, nothing? Like, dude, that was nuts.
Oh, God, that was so... there's a whole lot of I believe that you like to say, Mike. And, I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's a blockbuster popcorn movie. I tried to say blockbuster and popcorn at the same time. Of course.
And you said a pot movie.
A pot movie. I start putting my freaking words together the more I talk. This is terrible. And you can tell I've been talking all day, too.
Well, I'm sorry, Matt. We did have to record this a little bit earlier because I have a business trip. But anyway, I think we should wrap this up. And Matt, I'm going to ask you, what is your rating of Uncharted, starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg?
You didn't say how many reels. Rating. Okay, all right. So I'm going with reels, Mike. I'm not doing stars.
Yeah, reels. Yeah,
or
reels.
Cookies or anything else.
Oh, okay. No cookie. Like, oh man, could you imagine the cookies on this? I don't know.
Marijuana's. I'll have to ask my mom how many cookies. You know, that's what she does. You know, and I'm wondering if the other cookies you get to eat. You know, like if you only give it like 3 cookies, do you get to eat 2?
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
What do you do with a half cookie? I mean, I can't eat just half a cookie. I got to eat a whole cookie. Unless it's one of those giant cookies that's like 15 inches across.
Okay. All right, Matt. Well, how many reels do you give this movie?
Mike, I think I'm being generous here. It's mostly because it was nice going to the theaters. It was a fun movie. It could have been a heck of a lot better. It could have been a heck of a lot worse, too, though. I give it 3.5.
Oh, Matt. Wow. You totally blew me out of the water there. I give this movie 2.5 reels. It was just like it's fine. It's a popcorn movie. It's kind of Spider-Man being Spider-Man again. I mean, it's kind of Tom Holland just jumping around and like without the web, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, like it was fun. There's a little bit of stuff that I couldn't believe. So it was hard. It was hard for me to hit the button. Like I was having like hesitations, like tremors. I was like, I couldn't quite, or I had to hit it so fast that sometimes I missed some. Like,
jeez, that's an interesting way to describe it, Mike.
But anyway, it was fun. It was a popcorn movie. Go watch this in the theater if you want. If not, it's fine in streaming. Like I wouldn't say you have to see it in the theater, but it's a little bit more fun in the theater. It does have some decent action and stuff like that, but.
Yeah, it's not a must-see. If you want to see something new and you want to go to the theaters, definitely go check it out. But it's not a must-watch in the theaters. It's not like a Marvel movie or, any other big killer blockbuster. But, Mike, one of my questions is, do you think this would have done better if they waited a couple more months and waited for summer?
I'm not sure. I think I would have to look at the schedule, what the release schedule is, but it might have. I mean, in some ways, it's capitalizing on Tom Holland's recent success with the new Spider-Man, so he's still fresh in everybody's mind. So maybe they'll just go see it for that. I don't know. Like I'm just guessing. The last month has been. Not too much is coming out to the theater. In fact, they just, with the Academy Awards, just re-released a whole bunch of movies to the theater that got nominated, at least the Best Pictures and stuff like that, because there's just not that much, like just not a lot of offerings right now. And this usually is known as a kind of a dead time of year, especially January, man. Like usually January is where movies go to die.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to capitalize on how it's just an empty start to the year. I mean, more than usual. Normally we get a few award-nominated movies right now, but there's nothing, man. And so I think having something like this hit right now, especially after Spider-Man and the lull, I think it's probably going to do better than it probably should, which, I don't know. I mean, again, it's okay. It's fine, but it's not fantastic. It's not an amazing film.
Right. It's not amazing, but it's entertaining, and it's like a summer blockbuster that's in very midwinter, I guess, because spring's still not sprung yet, so we still got a few weeks, and I don't know.
All right, Mike. So next week is your choosing. what film are we going to be talking about for next week's podcast, Mike? Episode number 261.
Well, Matt, I would love to go to the theaters again, but it doesn't look like that much is coming out this next coming week. So, in light of that, I think we're gonna do a Best Picture nominated movie, Nightmare Alley, that's on streaming on HBO Max right now.
Mike, I think that's a good choice. We have lots of films. We haven't missed a ton of the Best Picture nominees. We have missed several. So I think this is a good thing to do because I like trying to catch up on all of them and, throw my hat in on which one I think is going to win. I have an idea on what I think is going to win, and I don't want it to win, but I think that's probably what's going to win. Again, I'd like to see the other ones just compare, but honestly, I'm pretty sure one of our previous reviews, Power of the Dog, is probably going to win everything, but I hope not. I didn't think that was that great of a movie.
I kind of agree with you, Matt. I think it's that kind of movie where it's strange enough that a lot of people are going to be like, I don't get it. It's the best.
Yeah. That's just the Academy nowadays. So, well, we'll see how Nightmare Alley is. It's another Guillermo del Toro movie, which I'm a big fan of him. He's a good director. He's a good writer. I still don't know how that Fish movie won Best Picture, but he won Best Picture for it, and Hellboy should have won Best Picture. That shit was so much better.
The Shape of Water.
Yeah, the Fish movie. The Fish Love movie.
Fish
Do you
love
think
movie.
they had tadpoles?
Fish love scene. I don't know.
No?
I don't
They
know.
didn't have tadpoles,
That's a good
Mike?
question. No, I don't think so.
All right, Mike. Well, I think that is enough for us this afternoon, evening, morning, whatever you like to say, because I think your internet's starting to fail too. So, Mike, do your thing.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We will catch you on the next pod next week. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Meta, whatever it's called. And, go out there, stream some movies, watch a movie at the theater if you want to. The theaters would love that. We'll talk at you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now go out and catch a movie.